What's up, everybody? Today I just have a few tips for making catchy melodies. So first, always keep in mind that the type of sound that you're using is going to heavily affect the vibe that you're trying to create. So with that being said, tip number 1 is use chords as a guide. So the idea here is to just draw in a simple chord progression to kind of set a guide for the notes that we're going to be using for the melody. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to play it, and I think I'm just going to do a simple 1-4 chord progression. That's it, just 2 chords. Hit Q to quantize. Looks good to me. Command R to repeat. J to join. So the reason I'm using A minor is because it's all white keys. This is a great way to learn basic chords and kind of just see how they're structured more clearly. If you don't know chords yet, tip 2 will come in handy. So now that we have our outline, let's hear what it sounds like when we play the same notes as the underlying chord, just with a different sound. So basically just with that, we already have our melody. So let's just go ahead and play it in. By the way, to do what I just did, you just hit Shift R after a playthrough. It'll bring up whatever you just played. Just to add some variation for the second time around. So now tip number 2. Since bass notes are almost always following the chord progression, we can kind of just use the same technique with bass notes instead of chords. So for the bass, we just treat each one note as if it were a chord. For the sake of this video, we're just going to follow the chord progression that we have already. So let's go ahead and draw that in. So if we mute this and just use these bass notes in place of the chords, we'll get the same thing, the same result. So we can do the same thing with the bass notes as we can with the chords. Keep that in mind. Sometimes I even recommend building the chords off of the bass notes to start out. So once you have an idea down, you can kind of spend more time on focusing what the sound is. A technique I like to use a lot is just duplicate the track, drag it down, and then just try out new sounds. Sometimes they work together, sometimes they don't, but that's music for you, so you just gotta try. Another thing I'll do is when I duplicate the track, I simply pitch an octave up or an octave down. That can give you a really cool sound as well. Alright, now I have a quick little bonus tip for you guys. I'm basically just going to show you how to quickly transpose melodies into a different key. Or not melodies, but even just the entire track after you make it. So just highlight every pitched note that you have in the entire session. It has to be all of them. And simply drag up or down. Simple as that. So I hope these tips were helpful for your melodies, and just remember, nothing works better than practice.